Neuropsychology is a study how brains develop and function over time, and that may include skills like memory, attention, reasoning skills. And what we understand about that, particularly in children, is that changes over time. And so it's not a static thing, it's a dynamic process where we see an expansion of capacity. So for example, we don't expect a 2-year-old to have the same memory abilities as a 12-year-old. So neuropsychology is the assessment of those skills, but within the context of age and understanding how those things change with age, and also in the Horizons study, how they change in the context of the condition as well.
There'll be a research assistant who is closely working with you, so we'll telephone you before your appointments to firstly just arrange your appointment at a time that works for you within the schedule of the study. And in the neuropsychology visits, the research assistant will also do some games or talking to your child. And it will be very much based on the skills that your child or young person has, whether they have language and they can engage in talking-based tasks, and if they're able to engage in learning-based tasks. So we'll very much adapt assessment around your child to see what they can do and also the areas that they are struggling with.
On the day, the families will arrive. We'll spend some time sort of revisiting things like snacks, understanding if the child's had a seizure that morning and whether the family thinks there's maybe any kind of lasting impact of that. We'll then move forward to just having a little bit of a chat with the child, getting the child kind of to be familiar with us as strangers, particularly if it's the first time that they've met us. And then depending on their age, we'll use kind of toys if they're very little, and it's a kind of a play-based assessment to understand where they're up to with language development, for example, or we might do some puzzles to understand some of their thinking skills. If it's a school-age child or a child whose abilities have progressed a little bit more, we may well think about doing some more puzzle-like tasks, like finding the piece of one piece that's missing from a pattern and games like that. And what that does is it allows the child to enjoy, hopefully in most cases, that kind of interaction with us, but it gives us some really important information about how that child or adult's brain is functioning.
So the neuropsychology information that we're collecting as part of the natural history study is really important to the study, because understanding the brain function and development and how it relates to children's language, motor functioning, their social skills, and when, for example, those develop or where there are difficulties and children lose skills in certain areas, is really important for us to understand. So at the points at which in development those are happening, if there are patterns among different children, if there are patterns, say, with the type of epilepsy, or seizures that children experience and an impact on a certain area of development, that will really help us to understand where to target intervention and support and future treatments.
I'd encourage people to sign up for this study, really to kind of be part of something really important for the kind of the Dravet community. This is really going to help us understand this condition in much more detail, and from that we'll be able to leverage much more advancement for children and families in this area in the future.